Good morning. We haven't been together in a few weeks, a little while. I haven't made any videos, and it's because every week I've been doing the exact same thing. Nothing has changed. I do my meatloaf and I do my breakfast with the eggs and pork, and that's it. Well, I'm trying something a little different. I did do a little something with what I had made this last week, so that's why I figure I'd log on and tell you how things are going. Before I was, I've always just poured the rendered fat into my breakfast or my lunch container. Now my breakfast sausage, I never did pour that back in. But with my lunches, my meatloaf, I just poured that back into the containers. And this week, I did not. I don't know. I've kind of been wondering if adding fat to a fatty meat is necessary. Now, eating a fatty meat is perfectly fine and perfectly healthy and all that good stuff, but whether or not I needed to add extra or add back the fat, that was my question. And when I posed that in my Zeroing In on Health group, they said, well, try it without and see what happens. Well, okay. Unfortunately, my friend tells me I'm a very literal person. And I don't know, I just thought that was normal to be literal. If somebody says, make sure you get plenty of fat, I make sure I add plenty of fat. But she says other people don't think that way. So, anyway, so what I am going to be doing different this week, and I did do some other things different last week. So last week I did do the meatloaf, and I poured off, like I said, after I made my meatloaf, I poured the fat off. And the meatloaf was the same 2 ground porks and 4 ground beefs. So so that was the same. I just had the seasonings in with it. What else? So that was the same. I did make another couple changes. So I watched a video of this lady. Her name is Dr. Carnivore. She's that name on Instagram, and she's Dr. Carnivore here on YouTube. Definitely check her out because I follow her recipes, and that's where I got some of the ideas that I did this week. So she makes various types of bowls, food bowls. One of them she did was, so she goes home and a lot of times she'll cook up a pound of ground beef. I think she does OMAD or maybe sometimes 2MAD, which OMAD is 1 meal a day. That's I think it's called an anagram. Anyway, it's the first letters of each of those words. OMAD. OMAD. If you're old to carnivore, you will know what that is. If you're new to carnivore, that's a word you're going to have to learn if you get in the online groups, because you'll see OMAD a lot. I don't do OMAD. I would go postal and hurt somebody. So what what I saw her make one time was some, on her Instagram, I saw her make some bacon, and she put some cream cheese on it. She made little bacon rolls. They look kind of like those roses, but pieces of bacon, they're rolled up. So they remind me of those roses that you see at Valentine's Day that men say they want those roses because they're made of bacon. Good grief. For some reason this is kind of sticky. Oh, because, anyway, I'll get to that in a minute. So anyway, so I made some of those and with the cream cheese, and I did it, and then I was not hungry. I ate, I think, about 4 of them, and okay, let me turn this up on high, and I ate 4, and then I wasn't hungry, and then I found myself eating my breakfast. What time was it? It was around 10 o'clock, or what I make for my breakfast at around 10 o'clock. Well, then I wasn't hungry for my supper until I think about 4, and then that was it. But it was what I ate was my lunch. So anyway, long story short, I have been kind of experimenting and trying it to see what I like better, and I've enjoyed doing that because in the long run, I don't know if it's going to be cheaper in the long run or if it's going to continue in the long run. But what I can say is it's cheaper because eating 4 pieces of bacon as like my pre-work routine, and then having the pound of ground beef, and then the pound of meatloaf. And no. The 4, good night, sorry. The 4 bacons, and then later having my breakfast, and then later having my meatloaf. It's a lot cheaper than doing the steaks. So anyway, I'm going to continue to try that this week and see how it goes, because man, if I can, I was going to put the little baggie in here. I'll have to remember to make sure I wash this. Most of the time, I like these bags, but most of the time they break, and so they don't keep the liquid out of my crock pot. But what they do is keep the sticking. They keep it from sticking to my crock pot and being a big mess. So there we go. Now, okay. So that has changed. Like I said, I'm eating the bacon, 4 pieces of bacon with some cream cheese for breakfast in essence. And then a couple hours later having my real breakfast. And then later in the evening having what I had prepped for lunch. So in all, it is about a pound for that meal for my, I'll say my 10 o'clock meal. For my 10 o'clock meal, it's about a pound, and then my 4 o'clock meal, about a pound, and then those 4 slices of bacon with cream cheese. So now we'll talk about what else I've been doing, what I've been adding to my meatloaf. We're going to move over here. We're going to move to another spot because you don't need to just look at that while I jabber jabber. Although you don't need to look at me while I jibber jabber because I'm a hot mess. But, hang on. Don't judge, it's Saturday. But, you can see my face. It's getting slimmer. Now I am looking up. Trying to get even level. But anyway, this is, I'm trying to think. When you grab this skin that is taut and not as stretched out over the years, and then you grab this, you can feel, I think crepey is what they call that which is what this right here. See how it's real thin and fine, that skin is. That's kind of crepey is what they call it. Well, same with this. This is real crepey. So it'll be interesting as I lose weight, what, how things are. Sorry, the water bowl is right there and somebody's thirsty. So you're gonna be hearing goofy noises. Okay, so what I'm doing different this coming week, I am doing crock potting the 4 pounds of ground beef. Instead of doing it as a loaf, I'm gonna do it as ground beef, and I'll tell you more about Dr. Carnivore and why I'm doing it that way. So I'm doing 4 pounds of ground beef in the crock pot, and I've got 6 pounds of 3 pounds of ground pork, 3 pounds of ground sausage. I called our local meat processing plant and asked them if they put sugar in there. And I say processing plant, I mean, that's what they are, but it's not some big plant. It's just like it's a mom and pop owned place, and I think they have 2 little front girls, and I think they have maybe like 4 or 5 guys in the back. So I don't want you to think it's some big plant. But it's great. It's local. We're small town, so they process the deers people bring in. They process local cows. So again, I'm very fortunate that that we have this place. Very fortunate, because their prices are the same or lower than Walmart, except on their ground beef. But everything else, like their ribeyes are $9 a pound. Their ground pork is $2 a pound. Their ground sausage is $3 a pound. So I mean, like I said, it's definitely the same. Or the Walmart ribeyes, I think they're like almost 10 a pound. So anyway, long story short, I called the place, and they said their ground sausage does not. Sorry, I just woke up. Ground sausage does not have sugar. So I went ahead and got 3 pounds of sausage, 3 pounds of ground pork, and I'm putting that in one crock pot, and then I'm putting the 4 pounds of ground beef in another. So that's what I'm doing for this week. This way I don't have to do it in a skillet. I just have 2 things dirtied up, and then when I scoop it out, I'll make sure I use a wide, it has a good draining spoon. I have something that I bought years ago. It was for taking something out of a deep fryer, and it's not a basket, but it's pretty good size. I mean, it's about as big as my hand, and then it's little slots in it. So I'll scoop my meat out with that, and then leave all the grease or the excess rendered fat behind. I'm gonna see if that keeps me full. So far it did this week. It kept me full. I didn't have any issues with getting hungry or anything. I still battle mouth hunger, but I've been big since I can remember. I mean, I do remember being active when I was like 8, but once I hit 12 in puberty, that was it. So I just always remember being big, and so I will always have mouth hunger. It's just where I get the taste in my mouth, or my mouth wants to get a different taste in it. One thing about this diet, it's almost like I have constantly like a metallic taste in my mouth, almost like when we're just gonna say you bite your jaw, or you get a sore on your gums. After the bleeding's done and the healing start, it kind of has like a metallic taste. Well, that's what I have in my mouth all the time. But not a bloody taste, but just a metallic taste. So sometimes I just am sitting there and I want something in my mouth. So I did go out and buy, I think it was Wednesday and today's Saturday. So for the past couple of days, I've had some gum once a day. And so far it has not caused me to eat or have any sugar cravings so far. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying this is kind of where I'm at right now. I did start, in case you're watching, hello, my name is Terry Least, and I am doing the carnivore way of eating. Please feel free to subscribe and click the like button. Okay, so anyway, I've not had any cravings or anything this week. Sorry, my hair I just got out of bed, so I know I've got fur, little pieces of fur on my face, and they're blowing around and getting on my nerves. What else? So that's what I'm doing. My plan for this week is browning both of those two meats in the crock pot. I did mix the sausage and pork together. Next, I did that. Source sausage is $2 a pound, or $3 a pound, and pork is $2 a pound. So I was trying to be cheap, and I'm gonna see if it still gives it enough flavor. So it'll be 3 and 3, and then mixed up. And then, like I said, 4 pounds set in its own crock pot. So I've got 2 crock pots going. So now, how did I eat it? My breakfast, I ate the same. I had my ground pork, and then my 3 eggs, my 3 scrambled eggs on it. And then with that, that's what I had every day around 10, 11, and that was my breakfast, my first real meal. Like I said, the bacon roll-ups. Ooh, let me show you one. Hang on. Okay, so this is what I did. This is a bacon roll-up. The person I watched, the Dr. Carnivore, she made them in her air fryer, and I'll try that next time. My air fryer was dirty, so that's a little bacon roll-up. The bottom didn't get done. Well, since I did it in the oven, it was on a raised, I don't know, little cookie sheet type thing, or cookie, what do you call those things? Anyway, grate. It was on a grate over a cookie sheet, but the bottom didn't get done. So I'll be interested in seeing how they do in the air fryer. So this week I ate 5 of these with some cream cheese when I got up. And then like I said, my 10 o'clock meal was the breakfast, and that was the same. It was my ground pork and eggs, and that was what it was, seasoned. However, I think whatever, just seasoned. And then my second meal, that is what has changed. From watching Diet Doctor. Now, it's not that the zeroing in on health would be against this. It's still carnivore, but I think that they would be, a lot of the people in that group go there because they have immune issues, they have health issues, they have allergy issues. A lot of the people have done keto, and it just wasn't enough. They still had things they wanted to heal. And so in doing so, they go to carnivore, and they're giving up the vegetables from keto. They're giving up the dairy from keto because it helps heal other health issues that they have. Well, I don't know. I just wanted to try it and see how things went. So the things of hers, Dr. Carnivore, that I tried. So for lunch, I had my meatloaf, and I put one day. She has one called a Greek bowl, Greek. Oh no, I think she calls it a Euro bowl. Anyway, she added Greek seasoning and some feta cheese and sour cream, and so I did that one day with my meatloaf. And that was really good. I kind of broke apart the meatloaf and then added some feta cheese and sour cream. And that was really good. And then she also does like a Mexican taco bowl type thing where she uses Mexican spices. What else? I don't know. And then another thing she did was add cream cheese and some other cheese. And so I have been experimenting with dairy. I have not had any issues per se, but I do have a lot of drainage, but we have a lot of rain right now. It's kind of like monsoon season, and we don't normally have monsoon season. This is the end of May, and usually right now everybody's dying of a heat stroke. I live in Missouri, and we do call it swamp southeast Missouri because it's southeast Missouri, and it's always super humid here, and and just the air is always, you know, if you have curly hair, you just used to the frizz. So, but right now it's just been raining almost every day. It's almost like it's Florida. Where was I going with that? Oh, changes. It's six. What's my clock say? 6:24 in the morning. Sorry. Anyway, so that's what I've been doing with my second meal is adding either some sour cream or some cream cheese. And so I've added a little more dairy into my eating. And I'm interested to see if it affects me in the end or if it doesn't affect me. You can see I have redness on my face, but I've always had that. I've always been good at covering it with makeup. So I don't think it's any more or less than usual. So it may be a little less than usual. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing different right now. And I didn't mean to not show up for a few weeks. But again, I was like, man, do they need to watch me make a meatloaf every, like 4 videos in a row? Do they need to watch me cook up sausage and eggs 4 videos in a row? Good night, Gertrude. Something else that diet doctor or carnivore, Dr. Carnivore or Carnivore Doctor? One of the two. I think it's Carnivore Doctor. One of the things she does, she's been doing this 10 years, so she's definitely somebody who, whose opinion I value and trust. And she's been on Dr. Ken Berry. If you have not seen him, you need to see him. His wife is healing her Hashimoto's through carnivore, and he is an active doctor, and he's helping his patients. Like, he's a general practitioner, and he's helping his diabetic patients and other people who have other illnesses. He's helping them with this carnivore diet, just kind of one person at a time, just helping them slowly. Anyway, that flapping you hear is the dog door. The dogs are going in and out. Anyway, so check her out. I might try something with my breakfast. Carnivore Doctor, she did something. It was a breakfast quiche, and so she used like eggs and cream and cheese and some kind of meat. So I'm thinking I might try that with my eggs today, but I have to wait till my sausage and pork get done cooking. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. That's the changes I made this past week, just adding more dairy, less as a garnishment, a little more as part of the meal. And I have been doing TMAD. I've been eating twice a day and with the bacon. Like I said, sometimes you just kind of, you go along doing the same thing, and you're like, I think I want to try something different. And so you do. So that's what I'm trying. But I will show you the ground beef and stuff when I'm done. And if I turn it into a quiche, I'll show you that too. But that's kind of where I've been and what I've been doing. And so that's that. So this is the stage it's at. It is 9:43. I don't know what time I started this. I think I was talking to y'all around 6 something. This is the ground beef. It's hard to tell. There's just a tiny bit of pink in there. Not a whole lot, but a little bit of pink. So that's the ground beef. And here's the sausage. And I don't see any pink in there. I'm not going to lie. I don't know or recall ever doing ground sausage pork in the crock pot. I may have. Heck, I may have done it on one of these videos. But anyway, but I wanted to do it separate because I wasn't sure about the time frame. But it looks to me like they're both being done at the same time. I'm not going to make you watch me prepare it. or, you know, put it out in containers. But, everybody's got a drawer. Just won't open, and this is mine. This is mine. This is the spoon I use. Hang on. So I'll use this, and then, let's see, it gets a lot of that liquid out of there. So I'm going to do, I'll put the ground beef into 5 containers, and then add 2 pounds in with them total. So anyway, so yeah, so it's going to be my ground beef and a mix of ground sausage and pork. I'm really excited to see. I haven't even tasted this yet, but I'm excited to see the flavor of the ground pork and ground sausage with the ground beef. So I just think that'll be something fun and different. Yeah, so I'm going to put this in my containers. And then, and for lunch, well, what time? 9:45. So I ate those 5 slices of bacon, and I'm hungry now. And so I'm gonna cook up a steak for because that's the best thing about being home on the weekend. It doesn't have to be, you know, what I've made already. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna put this together and then I'll show you. So here's where we're at. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is, you can see the red versus the white. That'll be my second meal of the day. That is the pork, sausage, and ground beef mixture. It is not seasoned. So when I am ready to come home and eat it after work, I will be able to decide, do I want an Italian flair? Do I want a Greek flair? Do I want a dill flavored flair? What do I want on it? So I'll be able to kind of decide when I get home. So, yeah, so that's going to be my lunches. Or, dadgummit, that's going to be my second meal of the day. Then come over here, and this is my sausage. It's 9 ounces. Again, it's not, I don't measure it to because I'm controlling the amount. If I get hungry, I will definitely have something else. But I do it just so I can kind of have every meal the same all throughout the week. So one meal I don't have 2 pounds, and the next meal 1 pound. So anyway, I'm going to fry up my eggs and get those added in there. I'm going to do them a little differently, and I'll show you when I get there. I also forgot to show you, so whenever I said those bags leak, that's what's inside my crock pot after I pulled the bag out. So there's definitely some leakage in that one. I think this one has a lot less of a leak, but still liquid. And you can see remnants of food down there. So you will, if you ever use them, you do have to use your crock pot, or you do have to wash your crock pot when you're done. So it's not going to keep you from having to wash them. So the bags are great because they do keep a lot of the sticky adhered mess that you have when you make something like chili or whatever. And what I did was I pulled out each bag, and I poured it into here, and then I put that rendered fat into here, and then I can't do it now because I only have one hand, but then, oh, that's cheese. Then I will pour it into here. This is where I always dump all my excess fat. I don't eat peanuts anymore, but I'm thankful I was a hoarder. So I probably have about 4 or 5 of these peanut containers left. And once I run out, I'll be hitting up my friends and making some requests for them to save them. But those are perfect. You can store any excess rendered fat, and then I store it in the freezer, and then whenever it's time to trash it, I trash it. But I store in the freezer, 1, it cuts down on the smell, and 2, when I pour warm liquid into it, it doesn't melt the container. So anyway, yeah, that's so that's how the bags work. Again, they don't keep it clean, they just keep it make it easier to wash it in the dishwasher when you're done. So, okay, now I cracked in, since I'm doing 5 days for my breakfast this week. And, hang on. Looking for okay. After watching Carnivore Doctor, she does a lot with cream and cheeses and stuff. She makes a nice looking quiche too. She just posted yesterday. Let me put this away just a second. So yeah, really take a look at her stuff. She's got a lot of really good recipes on there. But after watching her, instead of a quiche, I'm going to just add some cream to my eggs. So that's 15 eggs in there, and I don't know however much I just poured in. What, maybe a cup? I did spray my my pan. I've got that duck fat, and I've enjoyed it. The only drawback is sometimes it sprays and sometimes not. So I'm trying not to scrape my bottom too much so it doesn't stick. And you know I don't whip stuff before I pour it in. I just cracked my eggs right into here. So I poured the whipping cream right into here. I did not salt my sausage or my pork or my burger, like I was saying earlier. So along with that, you know, that's going to make things be more bland. So what I've been doing, I know you're supposed to like salt things while you cook them, and a lot of times I do, so it's not that I'm anti doing that. I'm just still trying to keep an eye on my salt. So I've actually got a little salt shaker at work of the Redmond's real salt. So when I'm at work, that way I don't salt too much, I don't salt too little. Whatever I have in my mouth for a flavor that day, I can salt it, and that would be that. So anyway, so I'm making up my eggs here, and when I'm done, like I said, I'll make me some steak. But yeah, so this is how I'm going to do my eggs this week and see how this goes. Just as an experiment, you know, I'm kind of like to try different things and see how different things go. And yeah, so anyway, I will let you see this when it's all divvied out in the containers. You all know how to make eggs. I've made them a bunch of times, so you don't need to watch me make eggs. So yeah, I'll show you how it looks after I have it all poured in the little cuppies. While I'm cooking, I figured I'd go on and work on my steak. Full disclosure, this is me. They say fat's good, and that's cool. I just don't like the texture of the fat on a ribeye steak. So this is how much I cut off. The steak was probably, let me see if I got a frozen one. So this is 2. I have 1 in the thing. This is 2, so it was about this size right here. So of this steak, I would be eating this, and this section. This is what it looks like. Whoa! Oh, mercy. That's it right there. Let me see if I can scoot it back up so you can see. That's what I'll be eating. I know it's okay to eat, and I know that, you know, I should be eating some fat, and there is, you know, red meat is a fatty cut, so it's not like I'm not getting any fat. There's still some fat on my steak. However, I just don't like it. I don't like it, so I don't eat it. And you got to do what's going to work for you, and if eating the red meat, it works for you, I'd rather add butter than that hard, gristly rendered fat. So I just wanted you to know, full disclosure, that's how I do my steaks. I used to not do them like that. I'd cut the fat off while I was eating them, but I give the fatty cut to the dogs. So so I season it as I cook it, which I forgot this time. And like this has garlic, onion, garlic powder and onion powder in it, and I prefer my dogs to not have that. I don't have any problem with garlic powder or onion powder. So, and this is still the no salt. I went and bought some more no salt to get back to watching my swelling. Anyway, and I do 4 minutes on each side. I beat the heck out of it, and then I do 4 minutes on each side when I'm making a steak. But anyway, so back to the dogs. I cut that fat off and I give it to the dogs. And so I'd rather them not have the onion powder and garlic powder that is on my finished steak. And raw meat's really good for them. And so, yeah. So just your full disclosure, that's how I do my steaks lately. You know, I've done it different ways, but that's the way I like them to taste. It's the way I like them to feel. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at with my steaks right now. And you're seeing, this is me getting this together for my breakfast. Anyway, so I am going to, since I'm eating more ground beef, I think in the long run it's going to save me money. I got, let's see, instead of doing the steaks, I got 20 pounds of ground beef, and I got 6 pounds of ground sausage and 6 pounds of ground pork. So that was I went to that, the slaughter place, and that was $171, and that will cover me for 2 weeks, 15 days. So yeah, I just wanted to give you full disclosure. So my thought is, going forward, I will just be buying the ground beef and the ground pork and sausage, and then since depending if I eat this way, now if I need more, if I get home from work and I'm starving and eating that pound of mixture that I just made a while ago, if that's not enough, 100%, I will cook up a steak. I have no problem with that. It just gives me a place to start. So, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. So anyway, yeah, I just don't like all that excess fat on the steak. But I make the dogs wait until I'm done before I let them have it. So, yep, it's gonna rain tomorrow. So yeah, so that's where I'm at, and that's what I've been doing with my steaks. Yeah, so that covers the steaks. You saw me scoop up, here. So there's my breakfast this week, or my first big meal of the day. I'm gonna add some cheese to it. Sprinkle some cheese on it. Well, let me do that so I can show you, and you'll get the full effect. Like I said, so far I've done okay this week. Oh, I've lost a total of 60 pounds now. So that's about how much cheese I'll put in. Probably about 2 tablespoons. I think a serving of this cheese is a 1/3 cup. So I'm definitely not getting any I'm not getting a full serving of cheese in there. So yeah, that's what it's looking like. So that'll be my first meal of the day, whatever time I have it. And 3, 4, and that's what I've been doing with my steaks. And now you're seeing today, this week, how I'm doing my lunches. And yeah, that's what things are looking like. I'm just putting my cheese on this so I can get them all put away over here out of your way. So yeah, I'm down 60 pounds now, and I'm kind of bouncing around right now. This morning I was 61 pounds down, but I usually don't weigh until Monday morning, and then that's my official weight, because I will have had 2 days of being at home and being with my feet propped up and not dangling where I'm getting all that excess fluid gathering down there. And I'll be making some more of those bacon roll-ups. So you saw what those look like. So I'll make some more of those, so that way I'll have those for the week, and then that'll be everything. I'll have all my food prep done. My sink is full, but I'll sit down and eat this before I worry about those bacon roll-ups, because everything's almost in the microwave. Look out, puppy. Look out, look out, look out. 1, 2, 3. So there's my 3 breakfasts. I put 3 in the refrigerator and 2 in the freezer. And then I'll pull them out later in the week. And yeah, there I go. That's that. So, alright. So my breakfast, I'm just saying breakfast. Forget whether it's first meal, second meal. My breakfast is done. My second meal's done. And only thing I have left is my bacon roll-ups. And that will be that. I'm going to turn this off. And then what I do is I take my tongs and I cut it up into bite-sized pieces. Because then I go and sit in front of the TV. I will put this in a bowl and I will watch it, or I will watch TV and eat like a heathen in front of the TV and out of a bowl. My ancestors would be so disappointed in me, but you know, it is what it is. I'm lazy, and I don't like to sit in front of at the table, and the dogs don't know how to act when I eat at the kitchen table. So, and there we go. So, now, when I do that, I wash these every time I use them, so then it's ready for my next use. And then even though it's not cast iron, I still wash out my my skillet. This is an old dog bowl. I use that for my. I added it to my pile of bowls, or my stack of bowls, because it's a good bowl. So sometimes I'm eating out of a dog bowl, but you know, when you have 4 dogs, yeah. So then I put that rendered fat in there, and there we go. That will be my, what is it? It's 10 o'clock. This will be my first meal of the day. So now you are officially in the loop. Again, the only thing I have left is the bacon roll-ups, and I'll use those for like my early morning snack every day. And I'll give the dogs their fat after I've eaten. Oh, I'll let you see them eat it. Hang on. Just because my dogs are my life, and if you're going to watch me in my life, you might as well get to see them. Listen to them come running. Hang on, let me zoom out. Let me see if I can zoom out. Oh, that's me. All right. Back up, come back. Come back. Callie! Callie, come on. Come on, sis. Come on, you know you get first bite. Come on, Callie. Callie, come here. Try to stay out of your way so you can see her. Yes, I'm in my pajamas. No, this isn't appropriate for people to see me in. And no, I don't care. Lou, Baxter, and Sammy. So that's what they eat. I'm glad I had some britches on. I mean, they're sleep britches, but that's all right. So that's the babies, and you have seen them eat and enjoy their fat. Don't you mess with her. Oh, she's done eating. Okay, all right. There's the kids, and you saw my food, and that's it. You are officially in the loop. Man, this is going to take an hour to upload, maybe 2. All right, love y'all. Bye. Oh, and I forgot. I was watching the little part where I was telling you what I bought. Oh, you can really see it when I'm eye level. Oh, me. Well, anyway. I forgot. I also bought 4 pounds of bacon. I was listening to me talk about what all I bought. And I'm like, wait a minute, where's the bacon? So for the $171, it was 20 pounds of ground beef, 6 pounds of ground sausage, 6 pounds of ground pork, and 4 pounds of bacon. Okay, now you're in the loop.